All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lamar Gafford, and I am one half of the team on the Gafford and Brown Show. This is our debut show on here. My co-host Robert Brown, he will be on here a little bit shortly. Hopefully, that we can get him on the air. But our first show here, a good friend of mine, Cameron Sadeghi. I've been on the show with him lots of times on here. Uh, on actually this network, he offered to have a show, offered me a show, and well, there we go. Lo and behold, that we have it. Today we're going to be talking about mostly about the NFL, college football, a little bit of baseball as well. So we're going to try to get every single thing into play in this one. And first of all, I just wanted to talk about the NFL today. Our first game here, the action that happened on this week, where we had a very good game last night between the Ravens and the Patriots, where it went all the way right down to the wire and everything between the both teams. But we saw the Ravens win the game 31-30, but yet it was a missed controversy with the replacement referees again, where again messing up in the game and all that. My take on the replacement refs so far is that I feel like that at this time, Roger Goodell really needs to try to get some of the he needs to try to get some of the real refs back into the game right now. Right now, we have so many of the problems with the replacement refs that it seems like they are negatively kind of impacting the game, and you see so many of the other rep. Well, you see so many of the coaches, players, and all of that. They're getting mad at the refs, at the referees, and trying to, they get mad at them and angry and all that stuff. And then you also had an instance where Bill Belichick actually touched a referee, and would look that he might get suspended or might even get fined for that. So yeah, but other than that, back to the game. The game was a very exciting one. It went back and forth where the Patriots, they had control early in the game, but the Ravens were able to march down the field and put a game-winning drive with their new kicker. I think his name is Justin Tucker, where he barely made it up across the uprights in order to try to win the game for the Ravens, exercising the demons of what happened last year. But the most important thing that happened last night was Torrey Smith's big time performance, despite having his brother getting killed in a motorcycle accident just 24 hours later, and you have to feel for the guy. And I tweeted earlier that um, his performance in this game, with that in his mind and with that in his soul, was just so inspirational. And you have to give props up to him for putting it out and having it in his mind to do that. Um, Also, with some of the action from yesterday, was that we now have three teams that are undefeated at this time. The Houston Texans are 3-0, and they are followed by a pair of NFC teams, the Falcons and the Arizona Cardinals. And the surprise of the season has been the Cardinals at 3-0. Nobody expected them to really be in this position because they had what we seem to say a glaring hole at the quarterback position. They had, during the preseason, we really did not know who was going to be their quarterback between John Skelton and Kevin Kolb, and they both did not really do a whole lot just to say, well, they won the position. But Kevin Kolb has been doing pretty decently over these past three games. Most important thing is the Cardinals have 3 wins right now, and they've really set themselves up in a good position in order to try to, make themselves a good run, and they possibly could make a playoff run as well with that momentum. But we'll see about that we'll see about that in the weeks to come, though, for them. The Atlanta Falcons, they beat San Diego 23-3 yesterday, and the Atlanta Falcons have really bounced back pretty nicely from after their playoff run last year. After not doing so well in the playoffs over the past couple of years, it is nice to see them get off to a good start with them, and they might be able to probably take the NFC South with the 2-game lead that they have over the Buccaneers and the Panthers, and they also have a 3-game lead over the Saints. But also the most impressive win has been with the Houston Texans, 3-0 right now. They're probably arguably the best team in the league at this time, and Houston really looks like they got themselves into a good jump, albeit it might have been against some weaker teams with the Dolphins, having them playing against the Dolphins and against the Jaguars. But their win against the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning really showed that are they ready to really make that next leap. And right now they look like they're ready to make that next leap because they do have a good defense, they have depth, they have a good offense, they have a good quarterback, and right now it looks like that they are trying to get ready to get into play. By the way, if you want to have some feedback into this show, you can tweet me at primetime2832, or you can contact me on Skype at primetime2832, or also if you want to have your voice being heard on there, you can also call in Skype at primetime2832, or just let your voice be heard. We'll try to get to you and all that stuff. Another thing right now for this season is that some of these teams are 0-3, and it's one of the things that's shocking here is that the New Orleans Saints, they look down, they look out, they look like they were going to get themselves their first win of the season against the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday, but they did not. They had a fourth quarter collapse. Right now, their defense looks like they could not stop anybody at this time. It's just been a disaster for them after what they've gone through during this off season with the bounty scandal and all of that. But right now they're 0-3. They have the Green Bay Packers coming in next, and they better get it under control sooner or later, because if they cannot, they might be looking at a position where making the playoffs right now seems a little bit bleak for them. But they better try to get the ball rolling sometime soon, or they're gonna be digging themselves a little bit into a much more deeper hole. Some more stuff about the action yesterday, that we had 3 overtime games, and each and every single one of them was pretty close. We had 3 overtime games. Each and every single one of them had some interesting, wild finishes. The Miami Dolphins took on the New York Jets yesterday, and the Dolphins missed the field goal by Dan Carpenter. And then you had the Jets. They actually stormed down the field, and they had a chance to get themselves a win. And at first, Miami blocked the field goal attempt, but yet their coach Joe Philbin calls a timeout, and then but then the Jets had the Jets get another try, and they make the field goal and giving themselves a win. And also, in probably one of the wildest games this year, this week, if not probably in the start of this season, the Detroit Lions and the Tennessee Titans. Detroit was down by 2 touchdowns, stormed all the way back to tie it up at 41-all. And after the Titans make a field goal, the Lions were 4th and 1 in their own red zone, decided not to take the field goal, but they decided to go on, try to get some more points, and it wound up with a loss for them instead of them keeping the game going. And those two games were pretty tough and pretty wild as well in that season. And also, we talked about a little bit about the Chiefs and Saints game earlier this year. While we're also at it, it looks like new head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Greg Schiano, he is still trying to, he's still under fire a little bit of how he handles the kneel down situation between him and the Cowboys. With this week between him and the Cowboys, he basically continued to go hard at the during the play, and which I see nothing really too much wrong with it, even though you can get injured with that. But my thinking is he's trying to instill a little bit of a new culture with this team, and he's trying to put a stamp with this team. And like I said, I did not see a problem with it last week when Tom Coughlin got mad at him. But and this week I see the same way. But he's trying to instill a new culture with this team, and he's trying to get them, back to where they were and stuff. So, also some more news in the NFL today. We also realized that New York Jets cornerback Darrelle Revis is out for the season after his injury, and you just have to wish that he makes it back in time, and he gets himself back healthy and everything else like that. So we're going to take a little bit of a break for 30 seconds, and we will be right back in, like I said, 30 seconds. All right. All right, and I'm back right now, back with the Brown and Gafford Show. Right now we're trying to look and see what else has happened going along here with the NFL right now. We also see that Jack Del Rio and John Fox, they get themselves fined for raiding the officials, and it kind of makes you realize, like we had alluded to earlier about Bill Belichick, we're trying to see what is going to happen with these. What's going to happen with his suspension? I mean, how much is he going to get fined? Will he get suspended? A lot of people saying that he should get suspended. I really don't think he will get suspended. I think, though, he'll get a steep fine based on the memo that they sent earlier this week about criticizing these officials. Like I said earlier, they really need to try to get these officials, they really need to try to get the real officials back right now, because there seems to be, with these guys, most of them are not even top level college officials. Most of them have been like in the Division II, small colleges and stuff like that, and they really need to try to, and they really don't know the game all too well. And the problem is, what we're really seeing is pretty much some of the games have been longer, a little bit sloppier. We've seen some miscues of the officials not knowing what to do and all that. And we really need to try to get Roger Goodell really needs to try to get them back. Try to get at whatever cost. He really needs to try to get replace the real officials back at all costs. Let's shift things right now to the college football scene, and right now it looks like that we still have Alabama at number 1 in the nation. They're still dominating everybody right now, and they look like to be the clear number 1. But on Saturday night we saw that LSU kind of struggled a little bit against Auburn, only winning that game 12-10. But we were trying to dissect who's going to be the real number 1, number 2 team. Oregon had a very impressive win against an Arizona team that at that time was ranked. They were won 49-0. It was their first shutout since 2003, and right now they're number 2 in the nation. And you saw LSU drop all the way back to number 3 in both polls, in the AP Top 25 and in the USA Today. Right now, number 4 is Florida State, which they had an impressive win against Clemson.